Hey everybody, welcome to or back to Life as a Law Student. I'm Nicole and these are 3 of law school's best kept secrets. Number 1, your performance in class does not matter. Reading cases, briefing, preparing for cold calls, none of this has any impact on your grade if you are going to the average law school, especially during your first or 1L year. Even if you're doing your homework in a very intentional study group setting, you may be just putting a lot of hours into something that ultimately has no long-term impact. 90% of the time in law school, your entire grade is based just on your final exam. So every day of the semester, and particularly in the back half as you approach final exam periods, really you should be focusing all of your efforts into things that are going to make that final exam period go the way that you want it to. And that may mean a lower level of performance in class on a cold call, because instead of spending time memorizing facts and the procedure of cases so that you can help your teacher explain them in class, you are going to be spending time analyzing the reasoning, policy, and actual holding of each case. The facts almost never matter because on the final exam, you're going to be given a completely different set of facts and have to decide whether the rules and policies that you learned throughout the semester apply to this new scenario, and if so, how. That's why using practice exams to study and creating an outline not of cases, but of rules, policies, reasonings, etc. is what is going to help you the most. I'm not telling you to not do your homework, but you probably should be doing it differently than you did in undergrad, where your goal was to be prepared for the next day. In law school, your goal is never to be prepared for the next day. It's to be prepared for the final exam. So doing your homework with that long-term goal in mind may shift you into a temporarily uncomfortable place, but it's a really important secret to success in law school. Number 2. You're going to pay more than you think. Everybody knows law school is expensive, and it's not an uncommon story for people to graduate law school with between $100,000 and $200,000 in debt. I've been very privileged in my own story to be given a full ride tuition and a stipend for my attendance at Washington University, but I'm still taking on quite a bit of debt in order to graduate and have survived for 3 years of law school in addition to what I took out for my undergrad education. It won't be enough just to say that you are careful with your money, you'll live frugally, etc. You need to really understand how these numbers build up and take that into account when you're deciding whether to go to law school and where. Scholarship packages are and probably should be a huge factor in the decision of where to go to law school. Take the average yearly tuition amount, say between $40,000 and $50,000. Remember that with inflation, that number is going to go up over the course of your attendance at law school, probably by a few $1,000s each year. Let's say that with no other costs and no scholarships, that number is $150,000 for just law school tuition. Now add your rent, between $500 and $1,500 a month, depending on the geographical location that you're at, your insurance, your travel money, your groceries, maintenance costs, textbooks. That can cost you a pretty penny every semester. Take into account bar prep and the actual cost of taking the bar. That's another $3,000, give or take. Don't forget to take into account the moving costs for any of your summer internships. Now think about the nest egg that you will need for after graduation, before you get your first paycheck, when your loans start coming due, when you need to put down a deposit on a house, an apartment, or a car, and then go ahead and add all of the interest for the loans that you took out over the course of the last 3 to 7 years. Even with my scholarship and stipend, I still need to take out at least $8,000 to $9,000 a year just to live and cover these other expenses. And if I want to live a little bit above the bare minimum of my needs, that's up to $10,000 to $12,000 a year. I say all of this to acknowledge the barriers to entry that exist for law school in particular, but grad school more generally. Money is just one of them, and it's a big reason why I advise that you never go to law school if you are not 100% sure about it. Because not only is it this crazy investment financially, but it also takes 3 years of your life and a lot of mental, emotional, and even spiritual investment. Number 3, the best way to spend your time in law school is by not being at the law school. Spend your time doing clinics, externships, journal, moot court, mock trial, student organizations, personal extracurriculars, book clubs, take your pick. I have never in a single interview been asked about a class that I took, a grade that I received, or something that I learned about a particular case. People ask about swing dancing, my involvement in Criminal Law Society and Young Advocates for the Incarcerated, my internship experiences, and my passion for the profession. Your goal in law school should not be to score all A's in every class that you can possibly cram into your 3 years. It should be to score your dream job. Research what you need to do to achieve that and implement it. That's it for today, everybody. I hope that you found these law school tips and tricks handy and that you will consider subscribing for more in the future. Please like this video if you want to see more of law school's best kept secrets, and I will see you next Saturday with another video. Until then, God bless.